underneath your sit bones. So just find something that's comfortable just for us to get started for a few moments. So take that comfortable seat and then guide your focus into your foundation, into where your sit bones meet the mat. And then draw that awareness all the way up the spine to sit yourself up nice and tall. Enough that you feel just the very crown of your head kind of reaching up towards the ceiling. And if you haven't already, maybe close the eyes or soften the gaze down to the floor ahead of you. And then let's just pull the shoulder blades together just a little bit so we feel the chest open. Just a very subtle movement. And then let's just take 3 nice full rounds of breath together. Inhaling through the nose, expanding the chest and the belly, and then slowly exhaling out. Really feel those lungs expand as you pull all of that good air in. And then emptying out, completely exhaling. You'll feel like you have nothing left. And then just come back to that posture, check in. And just take the next moment or so to find that drishti, find that focus point that you like to use to draw yourself back as the mind wants to participate in the practice. And 2, maybe set an intention for yourself. Starting from now, even before we get into the practice, something for your day, just for you. And then from here, depending on how your legs ended up, we're going to switch. So I'm going to have you take that left leg and bend it to the side so that the heel comes over towards that left hip and the knee is laying on the floor in front of you. Now, if that's not accommodating for you, you can just extend that left leg out long. It's up to you. And you're going to bend that right leg so that the shin runs parallel with your chest. I'm going to have you sit yourself up nice and tall, come back to that really nice big posture, and then take that tall posture and that flat back and slowly come into just a little forward fold. Maintaining that flat back, don't round through the spine. We want to be very cautious of the low back. And our intention here is to just stretch into that right hip. So you can have the palms on the floor in front of you for support. And you can even come into tented fingertips. Just hold here for one more breath. And then using those hands, walk them back towards that leg, bringing the shoulders back over top of the hips. Maintain that nice tall posture. Sit yourself up nice and tall. Inhale to that length. And then we're going to take a spinal twist to the right. So you can bring those right fingertips behind you for a little bit of support. That's there to help maintain that nice tall posture. And that left hand can come to that right knee, but that's more for support than it is for leverage. Don't want to move outside of your natural range of motion within the spine. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, bring yourself back to center. And then we're going to reach those right fingertips out to the side and then sweep them up and over, coming into a little side stretch. Really reaching through those fingertips and feeling that stretch from the tips of the fingers all the way down into that right hip through the right side of the body. And then go ahead and release and come back to neutral. And then let's extend the legs out long for a moment and just windshield wiper the feet. And then we're going to just take that to the other side, doing that same little series. So now you're going to bend the right leg, bringing the right heel towards the right hip. Option to extend that left leg out long. And then, option to extend that right leg out long. You're bending the left leg, bringing it parallel with the chest, sitting up nice and tall again, and then forward folding over that left leg. Just as we did on the other side, you're maintaining that flat back. And just stretching into that hip. And start to come back to center, drawing the shoulders back over top of the hips. Sit yourself up nice and tall, lengthen out, and then take that spinal twist now to the left. So left fingertips behind you for support. Maybe the right hand on the knee for support as well. I know it becomes redundant for me to constantly bring up the posture, but you'd be surprised how many times we lose our posture as we move from pose to pose. So one more big breath here, top of the head, and then slowly come back to center. Those left fingertips extend out to the side, and then sweep that left arm up and over, bringing that side stretch into the other side. Go ahead and sweep that arm back to center. Extend the legs out long again, and show right through the feet. And then we are just going to bring ourselves around and come into child's pose, just for a few rounds of breath so that we can work into the hips. So if it's comfortable for you, I'm going to ask you to bring the hips a little bit wider, maybe outside of the rib cage, a little closer to the edges of sides of the mat. And then bring your hands to the mat in front of you and extend the arms straight. And before you lower your chest down, let's just shift side to side, massaging the hip sockets a little, kind of waking up the hips, opening them up, and then you can start to reach the fingertips towards the top of the mat and release the chest and maybe even the forehead down to the mat. If the forehead doesn't reach, that's fine. Just try to bring the ears somewhere between the biceps. So you feel a nice stretch underneath your arms, and then a little press in the tailbone to stretch through the back. Take one more big full round of breath here. And then let's start to slide the palms underneath the shoulders. Let's press ourselves up to that tabletop. Bring the knees under the hips. Engage the belly, lift on that place between the shoulder blades. And with the next inhale, lift the chin, let the belly drop, press the tailbone up. Hold for a moment, continuing to breathe. And then pressing the floor away, draw the chin to chest, let the head hang heavy, pull the tailbone in. Just take a moment to alternate between the two, coming through cat-cow. Let's take one more round. So next time the chin comes to the chest, use the next breath to draw the spine right back to neutral. We're going to walk the palms forward. Shift the hips down towards the mat, coming into seal pose. So the arms are going to stay straight. You're going to open up through the front of the hips. Lift on that place between the shoulder blades. You can put a little micro bend in the elbows if you need to. Open the chest, maybe lift the chin. Take one more breath here. And then as you exhale, let's shift the hips back towards the heels, taking an active child's pose. So leave the arms engaged, pressing into the tailbone again. Take a nice big inhale here, exhale it out. And with that next breath, we're going to come back to that tabletop. So from here, from that tabletop, we're going to tuck the toes, we're going to lift the hips, we're going to come into downward facing dog. So bringing the ears down between the biceps or somewhere close, let the head hang heavy and press the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and let's pedal out the legs. So really lifting the heels, so flexing the toes, stretching the bottoms of the feet, working a little into the ankles, and then alternate bending the knees. Really waking up the posterior side of the body. Pressing the knuckles and the palm and the fingertips into the mats, using your whole hand for support. And then let's start to take the movement away from the legs and see if you can just draw the heels down towards the mat. If they don't touch, that's fine. You might even find that putting a little bend in the knees helps soften that. Let's take one more nice breath here. And then we're going to bring the gaze between the hands. Walk the feet forward. We're not going to hang in ragdoll. We're going to come right into halfway lengthen. So the hands come to the shins, the legs straighten, and the back flattens. This is an alternative for downward facing dog. If that's a little too much on your wrists, you can always step forward and take this halfway lengthen. Take one more nice big inhale here. Exhale, forward fold. Engage in the legs nice and strong. Find your foundation, and let's slowly come up to standing. Coming all the way up. Sweep the arms wide, let the palms meet overhead, and then just bring the hands down to heart center. Close the eyes, take a little breath here. And then from here, you can release the hands and bring them to the hips. I'm going to pick that left foot up. We're going to step it back. And then we're going to inhale the arms up, lengthen out. Let's come into star pose. Just waking up the whole body. And then we're going to bring the hands down, bring them together so they come right back to heart center. Your toes are facing forward. We're going to put a bend in the right knee, shift that right hip back and extend that left leg. You can hold here for a moment, or you can even bring the fingertips down to the floor for a little bit of support. It's up to you. So a nice stretch through that left leg, creating a little heat in that right thigh. And then using your leg muscles, come back up through center, nice and slow. And then down to the left side. Same thing, fingertips can come to the floor. A little bit of support there. And then let's come back up to center. Lift yourself up nice and tall. The top of the head comes back towards the ceiling. And let's rotate the heels in so the toes are angled out. We're going to come into the spine now. So bend the knees and look down and make sure that your toes are your knees are tracking with your toes. Engage that belly so you have that nice posture. And then hinging at the hips with that flat back, slide your hands down your thighs. Inhale, lengthen out. And as you exhale, draw that right shoulder back, send that left shoulder forward. And then let's come through center and take that to the other side. Just do that one more time. So one more time, each side. And then after you've rotated to the left, come back to center, straighten the legs, and then we're just going to walk the feet together, coming into Tadasana or mountain pose. So maybe rock back and forth on the soles of the feet, really set that foundation up. And then let's inhale the arms up. Interlace those fingers and flip the palms over, and then let's press the palms up towards the ceiling. And then draw the hands over to the left, pressing into that right hip. Coming back to that side stretch again. And then let's draw back up to center. Coming into the other side. And then back to center. And you're going to release the hands down. You're going to swing around and you're going to place the palms on the small of the back. And we're going to draw the shoulder blades and the elbows together. Start to open the chest, lift up out of that low back, and maybe lift the chin. Just a little back bend here. And then let's come back to center. And then depending on where you ended up, I'm going to have you turn towards the top of your mat. And then from here, let's sweep the arms up, the palms touch, Put a nice deep bend in the knees. Come down to that forward fold. Inhale, halfway lengthen again. Really flatten that back out. Keep the gaze down towards the mat. And then we're going to bend in the knees, and you're going to bring the hands to the mat for support. You're going to step your right leg back and then your left, landing in that tabletop again. And then let's take a round of cat-cow just to kind of reset the spine. And we're going to take a moment. We're going to come back into the hips again. So starting on the left side from your tabletop, you can even use your hand for support. You're going to bring that left foot forward, but it's going to stay on the edge of your mat. And then you're going to bring the left arm inside of that left knee, setting up for lizard pose. So then from here, start to shift the hips down towards the mat. So you're getting a nice stretch through the front of that right hip and that hip flexor, and then a stretch through the back side of the left hip. One more breath here. And then you're going to shift the weight so that the right palm comes underneath heart center. Let it turn a little so you can see me. The right palm is going to come underneath heart center. You're going to open up and you're going to draw that left shoulder back. Start to angle those left toes out. You have the option here to bring the left hand inside of that left knee to open it up a little bit. So a little spinal twist, a little deeper opening in that hip. And then let's go ahead and release the hand down. Bring that hip or that shoulder back down. And then you're just going to take your left foot and you're going to bring it back, landing back in that tabletop. You're going to stay where you are. I'm just going to turn to the other side so you can see me. So we're going to take that stretch on the right side. So bring the right foot up. It's going to be on the edge of the mat. And then the right shoulder comes to the inside of that right knee. And then see if you can open the hips. Remembering to breathe while you're here. Stay constant with your breath. Now we're going to extend into that little spinal twist. So that left palm comes underneath heart center. Going to draw that right shoulder back. The right toes angle out. And maybe that right hand comes to that knee. Opening up just a little. One more breath here. And go ahead and release. Take that palm away, bring that right shoulder back down. Square yourself off, and then bring that right knee back to meet the left. Turn around, and we're all back where we started, back into that tabletop. So then from tabletop, I'm just going to have you shift around, and we're going to make our way onto our sit bones. And we're on our sit bones just so we can transition onto our back. So keep your legs bent, soles of the feet on the mat, bring the hands behind you, and then use the arms to help you lower yourself down. Once you're there, slide the shoulder blades underneath the chest. Take a little tuck of the chin so the back of the neck is long, and then let's pick the hips up and set them back down. And then from here, we're just going to draw the knees into the chest. Just a nice soft squeeze. And then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Coming into a variation of legs up the wall pose. And then let's put a little flex in the foot and drive the heel up towards the ceiling. Take one more nice big inhale here. And then as you exhale, bend the knees. Let the feet land back on the mat. And then we're just going to make our way right into traditional Shavasana. So here, extend the legs out long. Let the body rest. Let the body start to relax. You can bring the hands, palms on the belly if you wish, You can extend the arms out to the side with the palms facing up. And maybe for a moment, just before I send you off in some silence and some stillness, maybe draw your attention back to that intention that you set at the beginning of class, just to remind yourself. Let's take one big full inhale here. Fill the belly up, fill the chest up. Exhale out of parted lips, letting the whole body soften, closing the eyes. And allowing yourself to really relax, absorbing this moment, and I will be here to bring you back when it is time. Very gently start to guide the focus back, maybe deepening the breath. Just continuing to stay where you are, right in this reclined position. Maybe take another moment to just kind of notice how you feel. And then a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for the practice, gratitude for our bodies, so capable and strong, and gratitude for yourself for taking time out of your day to just give yourself a little bit of attention. You honor the love, the light, the truth, and the beauty within you, because it is also within me. I hope you have a wonderful day.